Tonight, a landmark settlement agreement in the opioid epidemic. A group of state attorneys general reached a $26 billion settlement with Johnson & Johnson and 3 other American companies that distributed opioid painkillers, even as addiction and overdose deaths skyrocketed. States now have 30 days to decide whether to agree to the deal, and local governments will have 150 days to sign.
Cardinal Health, AmerisourceBergen, along with Johnson & Johnson, finalized plans to pay a combined $26 billion to settle claims from dozens of state and local governments that they helped fuel the nation's opioid.
So I wanted to share this article here out of Business Wire, dated July 13th, Austin, Texas. It's highlighting a company called Texas Original Compassionate Cultivation, TOCC. They're Texas's leading medical cannabis provider. And they announced today the launch of its patient-centric awareness and advocacy series as it continues to fight the state's opioid epidemic and campaign for the expansion of Texas's medical cannabis program. Now, they give an example of this patient named Casey Lusk. He's got a degenerative tooth disease that affects the nerves, and it causes him pain and muscle weakness, and he's prescribed 180 pills per month. Now, under their program, he's been able to reduce it down to 60 pills. That's a third of the pills that he was taking each month. And how do you even quantify reducing his risk for becoming dependent on this drug? And the problem is, people get this prescribed the drug, they become dependent on it, and effectively get cut off from the prescription, and they still have the addiction, and they go to the streets to feed their addiction, and that stuff is unpure, unregulated, and often these people overdose. So it's just a real sad situation, and this is happening nationwide. And these are normal people. They're not drug addict people. They're just people that got addicted. They got cut off, and they had to seek the drugs elsewhere. And Lubbock County had one of the highest opioid dispensing rates in Texas in 2019 at 95 prescriptions per 100 people. Now, this graphic that I'm going to show you here says in 2018 that percentage or that prescription amount was around 47. So what happened where it just totally doubled? So I just want to talk about TOCC real quick. Texas Original Compassionate Cultivation is a leading licensed medical marijuana producer in Texas, working alongside physicians to provide the highest quality cannabis medicine to patients and families seeking relief across the state. Let's look at the graphic here that goes with the article. It says 4 of the top 20 cities in the U.S. for opioid abuse are located in Texas. And take a look at this number here. This is in 2018. 47.2 opioid prescriptions per every 100 persons. In the article, it was double that at 95 for every 100 persons. Look at this number. The state of Texas spends an estimated $20 billion per year on the opioid crisis. Now do the math on legalizing marijuana and the revenue that generates, the jobs, the taxes, slashing this $20 billion bill, and then adding in all that revenue. It is just crazy. It seems so obvious, but as we know, there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of moving parts to this thing, so we just kind of have to wait and see if there's progress made along the way. It says a recent report by cannabis consultancy Nucleus One projected that with an expanded medical cannabis program, Texas could yield $820 million in estimated annual savings due to improved healthcare outcomes and costs, while significantly reducing opioid overdose deaths. Wow. This is it's a sad situation that's happening in America, and not just the people that are suffering, the victims of this. Think of the families. You got a brother, sister, mom, or dad that has this problem, and they eventually pass away, and it's just something that could have been prevented. It's really sad. Now, on another note, how does this affect the cannabis industry? So, as you all know, this last year the cannabis industry has taken off. Stocks have done multiples this year in the cannabis sector. So we'll just kind of wait to see what happens. This TOCC company, this is a private company. It is not public. I couldn't find a ticker symbol for it. On the website, there's no investor relations and whatnot. So, but we'll see who they're working with and who they're partnering with. Maybe we'll have to do that in a future video and see who they're involved with, and maybe even highlight other private companies. So just wanted to leave it with that, and leave your discussions and replies below, and maybe we can develop some sort of dialogue on this thing. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you for viewing, and we'll see you next time.